My name's Lucinda Golightly, and I'm a tutor with Novus, which is a strain of the Manchester College, and it's the justice sector, teaching offenders in custody and, for the time being, in the community. I work with high-risk male offenders from age 21 upwards, and currently I work with them in prison, and then some of them I get to see their journey once they've been released in the first weeks that they're out. Many of them carry on their education with me during their stay at the hostel, which is an approved premises with links to probation, social services and the police. Specialise in MAPA cases, which is multiple agency involvement with particular men and their personal circumstances. I did my A-levels, and then I was out of education for probably 2 or 3 years. I went back and did a night school, got a diploma, and then when I went to university to do my degree, I was 21. So even, it's still 3 years older than most of the other people that were beginning their course. And then again, I went and did my PGC, so it's not, I didn't go through the normal college straight to university and on like a lot of people. And actually I tell them that, and I say, I had a child all the way through university, it didn't stop me. And many of the men I work with have mental health issues and a history of drug and alcohol abuse. We also provide support for that with partnership agencies that come in and discuss substance abuse, and I work very closely with them alongside probation. I deliver functional skills, maths and English, cookery, employability skills, personal, social and development, and then we can tailor make some courses for them in terms of family. If probation have specifically asked them to complete a course on positive relations or positive parenting, we offer pathways for that with open awards. I run a pre-tenancy course which aims to bring them up a housing band if they're with the local housing agency. On completion of that, they get an accredited certificate which shows that they've, from start to finish, can explain and understand how to look after a house, what's involved in having a tenancy agreement, safety at home, and how to be a good tenant and neighbour. As part of that, I get them involved with cookery, which can help them. Some of them very basic, just shows them how to cook on a budget. Many of them don't know how to cook anything at all. I've no experience with that. I work a lot with the travelling community who, their view on gender roles is traditional, so to speak. So many of them haven't ever had to cook in their life. And a lot of them aren't allowed now to return back to their normal home situation, have to live alone or with only men. So I run a cookery course aimed at them, many of them low level learners, and it's how to make a basic meal. I also run a slightly higher level course, and I get a lot of the lads involved in that. If they've got catering experience, I let them sort of come in with their own recipes and facilitate the group. In custody, I teach functional skills and business studies and catering. The catering course is actually at level 1 and 2, and that can give them a direct pathway into employment in that industry, in hospitality. Functional skills, maths and English, anything over a level 1 makes them much more employable. Again, for themselves, actually, it makes everything a lot easier for them in terms of reading application forms, filling out benefit forms, which is invaluable actually once they're released from jail, because many of them straight away have to start claiming either job seekers allowance or employment support allowance. A lot of them don't know how to do that, can't do that. I provide support for them with that, along with partnership agencies. Maths and English in jail is different to teaching the same qualification in the community because they've got much more solid learning hours. They do that for 3 hours a day, which means that they're focused entirely on one subject as opposed to being asked to do many different things. Actually, I have been written to a few times since in jail, and the odd sort of note left for me at the hostel, particularly travellers who, as a general rule, find it much harder to talk to me, communicate with me as a woman to begin with, and then once you get past that side of things, once they've accepted that you can teach them something, that they've got something to learn from you, they usually come in with very little formal education at all, if none. So many of them don't know how to read. Their sort of spoken English, obviously, is normally quite good, and they have no issue with verbal communication, but their written and reading English is next to nothing. I see the biggest impact there because they, as a general rule, can go from entry level to level 1 or 2 within a matter of months, and notice significantly the difference in how they're able to write a letter, read a letter, confidence-wise. With offenders, and men particularly, not being able to read or write, I've noticed can make them quite angry when it's or when they're sort of threatened with the prospect of having to read something in front of somebody else. That can make people close up and feel very embarrassed, really, about the lack of ability to do that. And the biggest impact is when somebody is able to sit and read something to you that they wouldn't have ever even been able to dream of doing, even weeks before. And I've had people that write me letters. One man particularly, in his letter, said, "I can't believe I'm actually writing this now. I know where to put my commas. I wouldn't have been able to write that. Thank you so much." And it was lovely, obviously, to read that. I've had, because, you know, even if you get through to one person out of 100, that can feel better than anything else. The biggest jump I've seen was an E1 learner to level 1 within 12 months. And then they were released from jail and wanted to continue their education on with me outside of jail as well, which was really nice. I've secured 2 offenders places on foundation degrees, something that both of them thought was totally out of reach. And actually they weren't aware of what paths to take in order to do that, and it's giving them the confidence to know that they're their own ability, so it's not beyond anybody to do that, to achieve anything. And I think once somebody reaches level 1 in English, anything after that comes much more easily to them, and they start to believe in themselves a bit more. Actually, one of those men was in jail for nearly 10 years. He has 4 brothers, all of them are in prison as well, and his dad is in prison. And he said to me, he didn't want that to be him. He'd already served a long sentence, and he was only young, you know, he was still under 30, and he didn't want that to be his life forever. And so he made the change, and often that's the case. It's when they know they can make the change, and that's when it happens. You know, if they come out of prison saying, "I'm going to end up going back," often they do go back, but it's getting them to change their mind. A lot of them have had bad experiences with education, and that's the reason they think they're not capable. So when you give them a positive experience, when you show them that they can achieve education, even if it's in jail or in the, you know, when they come out of prison, once they see it in front of them on a certificate, I've got that, I've gone from this point to this point, and you measure their success, you can physically show them their success. And when they know that, that's when their confidence boosts. You can see it, and they're like, right, okay, but it's not out of reach then. I've already done entry 2, entry 3, I've done my level 1, I've done my 2, why can't I do level 3, 4, 5 and onwards? And you can see, and you can show them that, and if you can map it out for them and say, right, well, you've done that in 12 months, this step's smaller than that one, and the next one on again and again, and you see a lot of people get turned down for jobs as soon as they're made aware that they've got a criminal record. I've seen people enrol on college courses and then be told no when they've sort of delved deeper into their criminal record or their past, and that can be a big blow. But when somebody actually says, yes, you can, you've done it already, you can do it again, that's when you see them, and they make the change. They say to themselves, actually, I'm fed up, I can't live like this any longer. And actually it tends to, those that are my age, similar age to me, seem to be the ones that say, God, if I'd just done things differently. And I'm like, well, it's never too late for anybody. I was an adult learner in university. Why can't they be? And it doesn't have to stop them. And actually a lot of them, those who are parents, when they've had to watch their young child grow much older whilst they're in jail, many of them come out and say, that can't be the role model, that can't be how my child sees me. And so as long as they're prepared to help themselves, as long as you show them, how easy it is or how they can achieve that, it's taking that step forward. And once they commit to it, actually, once they've made the commitment, a lot of them won't retract from that because they want to save face. But it's a good way of keeping them on the track, is to get them committed to begin with. And actually somebody affording them that opportunity, so a college or a university saying yes to them when everybody else has said no. That's a big thing.